What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode. I'm your host, Disco, and today we're going to be continuing talking about the 2024 presidential election. Now, I know we've discussed this before. We made like 2 episodes already, but there's this other scenario that caught me by surprise, according to MSNBC, for the 2024. For the headline, Marjorie Taylor Greene aims to be Trump's VP pick in 2024. Quote, she sees herself on the short list for Trump's VP, said former Trump aide Steve Bannon, who has spoken with Greene. Now, this idea that Marjorie Taylor Greene, assuming that everything could work here, that Marjorie Taylor Greene could become a nominee is unlikely. She's deeply unpopular. She has a huge unfavorability rating, and beep boop beep boop. I'm sorry, but this is very low. This is very low. But according to Statista, I had access to this, but basically over 60% of the country said that she found her very unfavorable. Now, let's actually put that into test. Let's say Joe Biden was able to win his nomination. But then let's put, say, like Marjorie Taylor Greene as a presidential nominee or VP, because VP, she will have a huge effect. I mean, let's just look at John McCain's presidential election. He was a great candidate from the start, but then look at this. There's so much blue. Democrats had so much chance of winning in 2008, but McCain himself was a very good candidate. He was in himself a very good candidate. Now, what was the biggest difference between what really set him apart? What turned down voters for him? Well, Sarah Palin. If we look at her election history, early life education, political career, post political positions, post governor, election history. Here we go. Winning the gubernatorial. Now, Sarah Palin is a far-right candidate. She's a very, very far-right candidate. She's a very, very far-right candidate, and she was endorsed by the former president of the United States. I can't even find her election history. There you go. She did lose the at-large district, though. But back on point. Sarah Palin was deeply unpopular in the eyes of a majority of the American people, and John McCain was only a heartbeat away from dying. So the idea of Sarah Palin becoming president was unlikable. So they went with Barack Obama. So what did that cause? Well, let's look at a comparison from past elections. Now, 2004 and 2008. I want to thank map.jacksonjude.com for providing this. But yeah, just a heads up. So what did this cause? Well, Nebraska shifted 18 points for the Democrats. Vermont, Indiana, and Montana, both reliably red states. I might add, Indiana went to Barack Obama, shifting 21 points. Texas went more to the left. The steep South also went more to the left. With the exception of a few states. Oklahoma didn't much go far to the right, nor did Tennessee. Arkansas very much so went farther to the right. Louisiana, I'm kind of tempted to not say it was because of Barack Obama, because of Katrina. Obama, I might add, Obama won Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, and he shifted it 23 points from, I might add, McCain, I think Bush won it by 22 points, and then Obama narrowed it up to himself winning 1 point, winning a majority. So we could see this. So 53 solid votes, anything over 15, to then 211. Then and now. then and then, but still, when it making inroads to the deep south, making inroads to the Sun Belt, and basically the entire country. So with this in mind, we can pretty much say we could be safe that Democrats are going to win these states. Illinois would be solid. Virginia is hard to predict now because of the governorship. Um, these states would be solid. Colorado would be solid, and New Mexico would be solid because they rejected Trumpism. I would say Virginia would be likely. I would also say Arizona would be likely because they've rejected it as well. Nebraska second, Minnesota, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Maine. I think Wisconsin would also reject it. I think Ohio would just narrowly. Iowa would narrowly not reject it. A bunch of these states would narrow up. We would see reliably red states just crumble under pressure. Maine Maine second congressional district would go to Biden by a likely margin. We would see states like North Carolina and Georgia go likely. Definitely Georgia. They have a huge history of like rejecting Trumpism, and that would work out. Florida would go lean, while Texas would be tilt. Nevada would be lean. Now, I know this looks a bit weird at first, but why am I characterizing like North Carolina and Georgia likely Democratic states, while in the Rust Belt, I'm also categorizing them as likely states for the Democrats, while Nevada's lean. On second thought, that would be likely. Yeah, but still, why? Because of the way the demographics are working with us right now. So that's all I have to say on that. Indiana, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, and South Carolina would go likely. West Virginia, Kentucky, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Alabama would go farther to the right. And yeah, you would get a 407 to 131 scenario. Now, there was this one scenario where Biden was winning all of these states. He won Kansas, he won Mississippi, and this was like with Marjorie Taylor Greene in the image, like an absolute wipeout. But I do not see that happening. Honestly, it's just too unlikely. But we do have multiple scenarios in our head and of how things could go with Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's just that we do not have enough information on it though, because if we really wanted like a concrete evidence, we would need to do polling data. And Marjorie Taylor Greene hasn't been any of the polling data, and I have not been able to find any other polling data or predictions about Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I just double checked my notes really quickly. My apologies. And yes, I do not, with all of the evidence, I do not think that Joe Biden will be losing against Marjorie Taylor Greene. I do think it will be it'll be a landslide victory for the incumbent president. What do I think will happen? I do think that a bunch of these states will narrow up though, and I do think that a bunch of these former competitive states will turn single digits. Now, and if you just take the single digit states, here is what I think. Now, Arizona would still be single digits because of the way it is. Nevada, I think it would just be slightly single digits. Texas, Georgia, Florida, and North Carolina. Ohio, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Montana, Alaska. I think Alaska would be I actually disagree with my original prediction. I think it'd be lean. But Alaska, Nebraska's first congressional district. I think Maine's second congressional district. That's 167 electoral votes. That would be single digits in my view. I think South Carolina, my apologies, would be single digits. If you take all of those states and put them for the Biden column, that gives Biden, excuse me, that gives Biden 446. Imagine this type of victory for the Democrats. They would have the chance to win over voters. They wouldn't be able to gain. They would be in a very good position. Now, I'm not saying Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be the Republican nominee or vice president nominee, but it is not. It is in the realm of possibility. We must consider all the options to get an accurate reading. Now, this is what we think. So thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe the video, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya.